Hey y'all, welcome back to WildFired TV. Today we are going to be making a bourbon ice cream for you. So follow along, super easy, and just a few ingredients. So we're going to start off with heavy cream. We're going to pour about half of this. I've got a quart here. I'm going to put about half in our pot. Next we're going to use some whole milk, granulated sugar. I think it's about a cup and a half in here. So this is going to be like a custard style ice cream. It's just salt, just a few shakes of salt in there to balance out the sugar. Alright, so we're going to stir these ingredients up, turn on the heat, and bring those to a simmer. Don't want to boil this or scorch it on the bottom, so just low heat until it kind of bubbles around the edges and your sugar's dissolved. So while your milk mixture is coming to a simmer, we are going to separate eggs. This recipe calls for 5 egg yolks, and we're doubling it, so we're going to do 10 egg yolks. So with this step, we want to make sure that we don't get our egg whites in there, so make sure you really take your time. So the easiest way to actually crack an egg is going to be to use your hands to separate the yolks from the whites. They're more gentle than using like the side of a bowl or trying to separate this with the shells. You're more likely to break your yolk like that. So now that our milk mixture has come to a simmer, and you can kind of see there's a few bubbles forming around the side, it's not boiling, we're going to turn this off, and then we are going to take and temper our egg yolks. So that means that we're going to take our egg yolks and add a little bit of the hot liquid into those to help bring those closer to the same temperature without cooking them before we actually put them in our milk base. So first we're just going to whisk up the yolks that we have here. And then I'm just going to take one of our measuring cups and take a little bit of this milk mixture, and you need to stream this in while whisking. Don't just pour it in there and go. You're going to cook your eggs and have scrambled yolks in it. So just gently stream this in. A little bit more. You don't have to do all of it. You just need to kind of, like I said, get those eggs up to closer to the temperature of your milk mixture. So that's all incorporated here. So now we are going to take this mixture and we're going to put it in with the rest of our milk ingredients and whisk that up. Now we're going to turn this back on. You don't want to overcook this. Again, you don't want to boil it. You just want to bring this to a simmer, and then it's going to thicken. So we're going to stir this constantly for about 5 to 8 minutes. And then when it thickens up enough that you can wipe the back of a spoon, and I'll show you that step, and it stays separated, you know that your mixture is thick enough. Our milk mixture with our eggs in it has cooked for about 5 minutes, and it's come to a simmer and it's thickened up. So you can see it coats the back of our spoon. And when we put a line through it, the line separates still, doesn't run back together. So that lets you know that it's thickened up all the way, and we're going to take and add in our vanilla bean paste. Stir that in. The rest of our cream. And then we have about half a cup of bourbon, whatever you prefer, and just mix that in as well. So that's all stirred together. We're going to take this, and this mixture is going to need to cool before we actually start to make ice cream out of it and freeze it. So we have a strainer here set up with our container that goes in the ice cream maker, and we're just going to strain this straight into that and then throw it in the refrigerator to let that chill completely before we start to actually freeze it. So make sure you strain it, even though it looks like it's nice and smooth. That's going to get out any pieces of egg white that may have still been attached to your yolks before that have cooked, and you don't want that to go in your ice cream. So now we just let this chill, and then we'll come back in a few hours and we'll be ready to put it in the ice cream maker. So we're gonna finish off our peach Fosters. So we're gonna start with our cast iron skillet over an open flame. Then we're gonna put in about 3 ounces of unsalted butter. And just slide that right over your flame, let that start to melt. To this, we're also gonna dump in about 1.5 cups of brown sugar. And just a little bit of cinnamon. We're going to stir this together and just let that butter continue to melt. While that melts, I'm going to grab the peach schnapps, which is going to be the first alcohol we're going to add into this mix. So now that our butter is pretty much all melted and this is starting to cook down, I'm going to add in about 3 ounces of the peach schnapps. So we're going to pull this away from the flame for a second while you add your alcohol back in. To combine this. Now we're going to add in our peaches. We're going to put this back over the flame for a minute and let those peaches really cook and start cooking. So now it's time to add in our bourbon. Again, pull it kind of away from the flame, and we're going to put in 3 ounces of bourbon as well. Now take your pan towards the flame and let that alcohol start to cook off. You're just going to let this keep going until the flame dies down. Ice cream? Get it again?
Sure.
Oh my god.
You good?
Mm-hmm. It's really good.